Right, welcome back to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones, right here on Cast TV, and I'm joined by the other guest that we were expecting this morning, the chairman of the Forum for a Progressive Future, Maina Karobia, who is joining Solomon Kuria, who is the chair of the Jubilee Youth Caucus. Karibu, Maina.
Asante sana.
Glad you made it.
Yeah. Unajua nimechelewa hapa lakini binguni sitachelewa.
Utachelewa binguni.
Have faith.
Yeah, start practicing by coming early.
Yeah, so
when you walked in, we were having a discussion,
yeah.
And we were talking about. We started off by talking about whether the BBI was satisfactory. Let me start with the same question for you before we move further. For you, in terms as a youth, when you saw the document, did it capture what you would have liked to see as a young person in that document?
Levi, I must say this, that many youths actually presented their views in various presentation booths at KCC, LICO, even the county meetings that BBI committee was facilitating. But unfortunately, the final document gave us a raw deal. Majority of the views that we were presenting actually were not captured in the final document. In fact, some of the privileges and some of the opportunities that the current dispensation gives us have been removed by this BBI report. So that's why I have pains with this report. I'm actually rejecting it as it is right now.
Let's be specific.
Like, for instance, if we talk about youth representations in county assemblies and national assembly, this particular report doesn't prescribe how we are going to be presented in these particular platforms. Second thing is about the tendering processes or doing business with the government. It doesn't stipulate clear guidelines, like the way the current document talks about that 30% being designated for the young people in terms of doing business with the government. This particular document doesn't prescribe on those opportunities. So we have pains with this document in that regard. If it is about talking about the help, we young people, we really want jobs. We are not interested with loans. We are interested with grants. If we are going to make education free and make sure that we improve the literacy rate in the country, we should be providing an enabling environment whereby people can access education and quality education through grants and not loans. Because let me tell you, what is the rationale of making a policy where you are giving people 4 years to now start paying these loans with an interest, and within these 4 years, people have not even accessed these jobs. For instance, there are people who graduated even in 2007 or like 10 years ago, but they have not gotten jobs. Yet, the government is still going for their bucks in terms of paying the loans that they have been given by this government. So, what we are pushing for as youths of this republic who are at pains with this document, we are pushing for grants and not loans. Because you should ask yourself, if this person is going to seek this education, and literally he has gone to seek this education, then you shouldn't be there to follow up that
So the entire document, in your opinion, is a big no?
It's a big no. It's a big no, and we should reject it. Any youth who is supporting this document, he or she doesn't understand the real issues that this document is pushing. And let me tell you,
before I bring in Solomon, let me ask you.
Yes.
Right now, there are discussions about, even the governors are meeting today. Yeah. The president and Raila will be there to have a chat with them. Yes. There are discussions ongoing, and if you look even at our daily papers, there's discussions ongoing to see whether some amendments can be made to the BBI. Yeah. When you say that you are giving it a big no in its entirety, does that mean it doesn't matter what you see coming later?
No, actually what we have been rejecting is the document as it is right now. If it will be amended, we are okay with that. If it is going to be amended and it takes into consideration our views as young people and what we are pushing for in terms of representation, in terms of being in the equation of shared prosperity.
Representation, you mean you want some seats to be given to young people?
Yeah, to be designated for the young people, like the way women have been pushing for the agenda. We also want the representation of young people among the 5 executive seats. We at least want somebody who is under 35 to be in the 5 executive seats that they have proposed in this BBI. So what we are rejecting and what we are rejecting is whereby you are presenting the document as if it's cast in stone, that it shouldn't be further amended. And I'm happy with these groups that have, like the Council of Governors, the Pastoralist Parliamentary Group, they are pushing for their interest to be taken care of in the amendment report. So for us, we're also pushing for the amendment report, and also we are pushing for a consensus document, not a contested document where we have a yes or no conversation.
Solomon,
not a consensus document.
You have had mine now.
Yeah, you know, Levy, let us not engage in myopia and seeing things, small things, and failing to see the bigger picture. You see, when Karovia tells you about 30%, when he tells you about county assemblies and how youths will not be represented, that one tells you that someone has not read the document, even an inch. You see, county assemblies are not touched by the BBI. So the 2 youth reps who have been going to the county assemblies will be going there. So it is a lie to say that it is not pronouncing itself on the county assemblies. Number 2, when you ask whether the issues of whether the document is good about the youth issues compared to what? Have we ever had a document in this country that has ever addressed the issues of the young people? Show me one, just one. So this is a document that has taken the issues of the young people from scratch to a higher up somewhere. Where we have the Youth Commission, for the first time, a constitutional commission will be in our constitution, where we shall have 7 years tax breaks for startups. Any business started today by a young man after BBI will not pay tax for 7 years. When we have incubation centers right from the ward level, where you are monitoring and actually making sure that resources that promote trade go up to the ward level, targeting the young people. Which other document said that? You see, Levy, when he talks about young people going to parliament and getting nominated to positions, that is not what I want. That is not what I want as Solomon, as a young man of this country. What I want is what the BBI is saying, that in that party list that is cutting from Mombasa to Moyale, the whole country, that party list must include women and youth, but not for nomination, for a contest. So if Jubilee Party is fronting candidates for members of National Assembly and Senate, it must make sure that there are youth who have been given nominations, tickets by the party. ODM the same, Wiper the same. We want a contest. We don't want boardroom and bedroom appointments to the National Assembly. Because let me ask you, these women who say they represent women in National Assembly, do you think the Mama Boga is represented in the National Assembly? Let us have someone who is elected from the ground by that Mama Boga, by that young person. The youth who say they represent the young people in the National Assembly, who put them there? If you go to your home turf, in your village, does that young person from your village know that whoever represents him in the National Assembly or Senate? They even have very funny names. I don't even know the name of the guy who represents the youth from the Jubilee wing in the Senate. His name is even hard to pronounce, but he is there representing who?
He's called Prengay.
Prengay. Who is, go and ask around, even outside here, at the headquarters of civilization, Nairobi. Step out here and ask, who is Prengay? Nobody knows him. So let us get out of that. Let us have people being elected.
You know.
And I have heard him also say, he must tell us, when we come to this show, you called me. You did not call a chairman or something or something. He is saying we are opposing. As who? So if Karovia must tell you whether he is here on behalf of other people, he must tell you so that I know who I'm debating with.
No, he's here. Let him tell us. Who are we, Karovia?
We the youth of Kenya.
You can only speak on your own behalf.
We the youth of Kenya. Let me tell you. I want to expose the hypocrisy in this document when it talks about youth commission. For the longest time, this country has had millions of commissions, boards, and committees. This document, this particular document, wants to add another commission to those thousands of and hundreds of commissions that previous dispensations.
How many are they?
Let me tell you this.
How many commissions do you have?
Right
you
now,
say commissions for different things.
You know, you say 10,000 commissions. What is that?
When you say commissions for different things,
let me tell
I think he makes a point, yes?
Let me tell
We've
you.
had many commissions.
Yeah, we have had many
we
commissions.
have a few commissions in the Constitution.
We have many commissions and tribunals and committees and boards.
He's talking about task force and
those ones.
There are commissions in the Constitution.
I think what you're trying to say is they all sound like this thing.
Yeah, so let me tell you.
Yeah.
As youth of this republic, we don't want a youth commission. We want the enhancement and the strengthening of National Youth Council. Right now, the National Youth Council has been designated by the Constitution.
What's the difference? That's another thing. By a different name.
That's what we're asking.
Isn't it?
That's what we're asking. We are pushing for the strengthening of the National Youth Council, whereby the Constitution guarantees or designates it as the champion or the voice of the youth. Let me tell you this.
Minor, let me ask you.
Yes.
Even if you say it's a National Youth Council, and that's what you're pushing for the strengthening of,
yes.
What's the difference here? Because you see, it's just potato. It's just another animal branded another.
The difference is this.
What's the difference is this. About that?
The difference is this. When you talk about commission, it's all about selection, appointments to the commission. When you talk about National Youth Council, it is stipulated that National Youth Council constitutes of people who have been elected by youths. They have the youth mandate to talk on their behalf. And that's why we have been pushing. There's a certain bill that has been pushed.
I don't see them. Who is the chairman of the National Youth Council?
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you. The reason is
why. Tell me right here. Who's the chair of the National Youth Council?
Let me tell you. Right now, they don't have a substantive chair, but they have a secretariat that is headed by a CEO called Roy Telelo. The reason as to why this particular council has not been functioning is because certain cartels within the ministry have captured the youth council and made it not functional by not even designating budget and functioning functions to it. And that's why we are pushing. If the BBI report is genuine,
but what are we discussing? We are comparing a youth council to a constitutional commission.
If it is being genuine,
let us do justice to our viewers.
If it is genuine and candid as it is being projected to be, it should be talking about strengthening and enhancement of National Youth Council as it should be.
What is that?
Not by appointment, not by selection to the council.
I will let you rebut.
You see what he is saying? He's saying the same thing, yeah? That not by appointment cannot be disbanded, cannot be interfered with. That is what he is saying. And I support him because you cannot disband a commission, whether you are the president or you cannot.
Do you know what
a constitutional, just a minute, a constitutional commission can only be restructured through a referendum. That is why one of the reasons we are going to a referendum, because we are touching on IEBC, which is an independent commission. When we have youth commission, it's going to have the same status, just like the lads commission.
A commission,
and that is why you see. Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me. You see, you need to read. You need to read Article 255, 256, and 257 of our Constitution, so that you are able to empower yourself. And it is easy. Whenever you are touching on the structure of commissions, that is one of the grounds to have a referendum. Are we together? We are talking of such a strong commission. And that's why the health workers are complaining. Because what they have been given by the BBI is a statutory commission. What we have been given by the BBI is a constitutional commission. And we cannot compare a commission with something called Youth Council somewhere that can be disbanded by the Minister for Youth Affairs and all that. This is a commission that is going to link the youth of Kenya with the opportunities both at the national government and the county government.
So going by what he's saying, wouldn't you want some stronger representation as a young person?
Why would he oppose a commission?
No,
he didn't know what that is.
Let me tell you.
He has to be honest.
I know what he is talking about. Let me tell you.
You really don't know what is a commission.
This youth commission that they are proposing, let me tell you, they are talking about...
You don't know what is a commission.
Let me tell you, they are talking about the president or the appointing authority appointing at least 4 people to the commission. What does that tell you? That this commission is going to have at least 2 people who are senior in terms of age, above 35. It is talking about at least 4 people being youth. That tells you it leaves a gap of at least 2 people who are senior than, in terms of age, than these 4 people who are youth. So that's what we don't want. If it is youth issues being talked about, it should be talked by young people. And that's why we are talking about representation.
But
let
me ask you.
I know Amboy Nyoto is in the NCIC.
Where
She's
are
not
the young people? Because you talked about a national youth, what do you call it, council, youth council, yes?
Yes.
Where are they? This BBI has been there. I don't see anybody from National Youth Council talking and saying, hey, we are here, we are a youth council, we should have been given the, you know,
they have supported the BBI. They
Let
have
me
done
tell
their
you
presser, they have supported the BBI.
We should have been
They have done it.
They have
done it,
supported.
but they are supporting a document that they are not aware of. That
Now
is
you're
actually,
speaking again on behalf of Youth Council who have already supported the
let
BBI.
me tell you, let me tell you, Levy. Let me tell you, Levy.
Yeah, sorry, where are they
The reason as to
opposing
why,
them?
the reason as to
why
why,
is he opposing it on their
the
behalf?
reason as to why we, the youth, want a youth council. We want an independent youth council that has its own budget, and it has mainstreamed its functions.
Yeah.
Right now, we have a youth council. Right now, we have a youth function that is still at CS.
You know, give us another topic,
Yeah.
Nani.
That has
I am concerned. Let me tell you guys.
Let me tell you, the youth
Solomon,
function.
be kind. I am concerned
Yes.
that you know, you two are young men,
Yes.
both from the Jubilee Party.
Yes.
Both of you are here reading from different scripts.
Yes.
The differences don't seem like there are differences that cannot be bridged. But my question is, does it seem, because for example, you are talking a lot about we, and the suggestion here seems to be that maybe Solomon here supports the BBI because he is pro the president and from Kiliweke side, and you don't support it unless, you know, the Hustler Nation says it's good for us. Is that the case here?
No,
That is not the case.
It's
all about
on my
is
own
this policy
behalf.
or is this about
policy.
just who we are behind?
It's policy issue. It is about constructive engagement and how you are persuaded.
So if Dr. William Ruto today said he supports the BBI, you wouldn't change your mind?
The point is, how persuaded am I with this document?
Answer the question, please.
Come again?
If he said today that he supports the BBI,
Yes.
Dr. William Ruto, would you change your mind?
You know, we have to be persuaded even by himself, by William Ruto, on what grounds are we supporting the document. Let me tell you, we are not psychophants.
I have to read for myself.
Yeah.
We are not
Nobody
psychophants.
should persuade me.
We are
The document
So you're not talking because of President.
The document
Yes.
should persuade.
It is all about
the
personal persuasion
document
to
should
the
persuade
document.
me.
The
Not
document should
the
persuade you.
president. The document persuades me.
So
That's why I like
is,
it.
The point is, Levy, when we are talking about youth function, we want it to be mainstreamed to an independent ministry. And we also have a National Youth Council that is strengthened, it has clear mandate, and representation within that council is by elections, not by selection.
What do you
As
mean by
stipulated-
independent ministry? Because I don't see how that would do.
Let me tell you,
This
the
is
young
creating
people,
total confusion.
Listen.
You know, Levy, youth council is not going anywhere. It's not being disbanded by BBI. In fact, it is a win-win situation.
Then it is
we
the-
have the National Youth Council. Let me finish. We already have it. It's not going anywhere. Then we have been added a youth commission. Where are you saying that we should empower this and we can still have this and this? We have both of them. Why are you arguing here? What is the issue of contention here? NYC is not going anywhere. BBI has brought us a commission. We should embrace that.
What will then be their
as the
roles,
young
if
people.
I may
yes,
ask you?
duplication of roles.
You see, there is nothing like duplication of roles. For a commission, it has a very clear mandate.
Which
that
is?
there is someone with authority. With authority. You see, you saw Nani, this Swazuri, eh? You remember him and Gilu.
Yeah.
When Gilu was saying that, you know, we are the custodians of the title deeds of the country. What did Swazuri say? We are the Constitutional Commission. Do you remember that battle? Mm-hmm. And who won? Swazuri. Because Swazuri was heading a Constitutional Commission. It is even powerful. It can even start off a ministry. Today, the IEBC are doing their press and they are speaking. They speak all the time and they speak their mind. Nobody can infiltrate there and say, we have come here to tell you this is what you're going to do. That is what will happen when it comes to the Youth Commission.
So it's a matter of strengthening, you say?
When there will be appointments through the public service, if the matters of the young people are not looked into, the commission will stand up and say, no, this will not be approved.
Did you present, Maina, did you present your...
I presented, and that's why I have pace with this document, because they have not captured what we said.
What did you want?
We wanted the mainstreaming of youth issues through an independent ministry, whereby the youth function stands alone. We should have a ministry of youth.
Headed by who?
By a youth. Listen,
who is the boss to that minister?
Listen,
it's the president.
Listen,
cannot be dependent.
Listen, Levy. You see, the majority of the biggest component of our population is the youth. When we have the majority, it means we should be represented, or we should have the budget allocation to that particular component of the population.
Don't you think, though, that if you had a youth ministry headed by a minister, and the minister is subservient to the president of the day, then he would just be doing what the president and that government would be wanting him to do?
Not really. The function of the minister,
that would remove the independence of the so-called ministry.
Let me tell you, the function of a minister is also to give professional advice to the president.
But never to be defiant. It's just to follow what...
you see, there is a way you can...
There's no minister who will wake up and say, no, the youth wanted to do this.
Clerks.
And then the president says,
I
want you to do this. And then he says, I won't do it, or we'll go in this direction.
Let me tell you, unless you have a dictatorial president who doesn't listen, that's when you can have a president.
So you're pegging this on the possibility of not having a dictatorial president, which none of us would be sure of.
Yes.
And that dictatorial president will not even touch that commission. Let us be honest. Will not touch that commission, because it is an independent commission.
Let me tell
Today,
you.
the Auditor General, who is another independent office, gives his staff as he wants. Whether the government has stolen money or not, the Auditor General comes and says, you have stolen this much. And he goes. And nobody touches him, because it is an independent.
Okay, let me move to something
Chapter 15.
Go ahead. I want to ask you, Solomon, because you talked about, which is there in the BBI, but you talked about the issue of youth being able to start a business and not getting a tax holiday for 7 years, right? You know, part of the concerns those of us who sit from where I sit have is that when we look at such things, and we have seen scandals in the past, where companies that started in 1 month, in 2 months have dealt 500 million shillings. And some of them started by youth. What would stop the cartels of this country from getting a young person as their head who starts a company and then using that company to siphon funds and even do tax evasion?
Again, I say, let us read the document. That is not what the document is saying.
The document gives a young person.
The document is saying,
yes,
there will be a small scale and medium enterprises authority. There will be an authority, which is actually even there today. That authority will be the one to vet and actually verify that, one, this business is owned by a youth. Number two, the minister in charge will come up with regulations giving the guidelines on who gets what. But the first qualification is it is a small or medium scale enterprise. We are not talking of a business worth 1 billion or even 300 million. No, these are small scale traders. Small scale. Because once you grow now, you can be able to pay your taxes and have some profit. But we are saying, when you're starting a business with 200,000, and then the government walks in tomorrow, you see, much of that goes. And again, we must tell our people, you know, we come here so that we can educate them. The direct taxes that will be exempted, according to me, one will be like the corporation tax. If you have a limited company and you are a young person, one thing you don't do is corporation tax. But that business has to be in the category of small scale or medium. And then sales tax. If you are operating under a business name, you have a car wash, but what you're operating under is a business name, you don't pay sales tax, which is about 1% or something. Corporation tax is about 30%. So there will be a clear indication on who pays and what kind of a business, what level of business are we talking about here. That will come. And that is why we have in the BBI some proposals which are legislative and others which are policy.
Right. Maina, are you satisfied with what you see considering young people and business?
You see, Levi, we should ask ourselves, what is the rationale of this particular proposal that the BBI is pushing? Let me tell you, the main question that we should be asking ourselves, the biggest component of the population is the youth. What does that tell you? That if we are the majority within the population, then we are the main payers of the taxes within the market. If we are going to have this tax holiday,
but not necessarily the highest ones.
Yeah, I know that. But if we remove this particular component of the market from paying tax, then it means the sustainability of the economy will be poor. When we have even a sovereign debt of almost
Maina, are you advocating on this show for young people to start businesses that get lumped with heavy tax?
This is my point.
I don't know what he is.
This
he
is my
doesn't
point.
know really what he is.
Is that what you're saying?
No,
here?
my tax holiday issue. The tax holiday issue is this.
Yeah.
My tax holiday issue is this: that we should have, first of all, we reduce the bureaucratic requirements that discourages young people to do business with the private sector or even the public sector, that is the government. Those are the bureaucratic requirements that we should be pushing through BBI to remove. The second thing is about requirements such as registration fee of a company. If you are a young person, reduce the requirements of this registering the company of a young person.
Yeah. He makes a great point. Solomon, I see you laughing, but you know we were ranked one of the hardest and difficult countries in Africa to start businesses in.
You see,
and Rwanda beat us, they were fast.
Let me tell you, just a minute.
Before you come to him, let me say this.
Yeah.
This proposal actually also leaves some loopholes of whereby people who are able can use this particular proposal to evade tax and also to do business under the designation of youth bracket.
Small scale and medium.
Youth bracket.
It is not worth the hassle.
Let me tell you.
It is not worth the hassle for a billionaire to stop his ventures and come for a small scale. No, let us be realistic.
Let me tell you.
Yes. What if he starts for 400 of those small scales?
400.
Levi, what stopped?
And does money laundering with them.
What is the cost of running that business with 400 and running it as one entity?
What stopped that entrepreneur who was delivering the mobile clinics in 2015? And he is a young person, yes. He is a young person in this republic, but he is a billionaire.
You know, Levi, he has made his point. You know, he has made his point.
Guidelines on how we are going to move on. Designate
he has already made his point.
He
has already made his point. But I want to register my disappointment in whatever he is saying. You know, him and the person he speaks for say they support hustlers of this nation. You know, hustlers in quotes. This is a very bad name. You know, the weak. And now he has a document saying now, speaking for the weak. Now he is trying to bring some bureaucracies. You know, we are going to lose taxes. Young people pay a lot of tax. The government is going to lose. And those are the same people they go back to over the weekend to say, you are the hustlers. I will actually form the next government with the hustlers. That's nonsense. Because we have been told by the Auditor General, not once, not twice, but that a third of our budget goes into the pocket of a few thieves. A third. And then you are here telling me that that small tax that the young people pay should not be forgiven. But a third of our budget should continue going to the thieves. We are now concerned that there is some amount of money that the government has been getting from young people that it will not be getting. But we are not concerned about this money. A third of our budget, $1 trillion, that has been going into the pockets of a few. It is hypocrisy of the highest order. Let us have this in our constitution, that when I'm starting a business and I'm below 35 years, I will be given a tax holiday until my business peaks. These rich people go into our budget, into our coffers, and they take money. We don't speak. Now, young people of Kenya, there's a document called the BBI that is telling you that if you are young and you start up your business, you will not pay tax for 7 years. Support that. Yeah.
You know, Levi,
Minor.
we must ask ourselves, why are they including youth issues? You know, youth issues in this particular document are 5% actually. The 95% is the political interest in this document. So they are dangling this carrot of tax holidays, youth commission, to pass the larger interest or the objective of this document.
No, it's interesting you should say that. You know, before you walked in, I had asked the question.
Which is expanding the executive.
Yeah, let me just jump in there and just say, before you walked in, I asked the question. I asked Solomon whether this document, there are 2 lines of thoughts about this document. I said there are those who think this document is about the president's legacy, and there are those who say it's about stopping somebody from becoming president.
Yes. Let me tell you.
Is that what you're trying to allude to?
President's legacy cannot be secured by pet projects, pet political project. President's legacy can only be secured by the Big 4 agenda, which are very constructive, and anybody who is patriotic should support that. Personally, I support the Big 4 agenda, the manufacturing, the housing, affordable healthcare, all that, and food security. I support all that because actually those are the fundamental challenges that this country has been dealing with since 1963. But when you talk about coming up with another project, you talk about peace issues, you want to unite the country. Let me tell you, do you know, and for your information, and this is going to interest you, that the wheelbarrow is uniting people more than the BBI is uniting people.
I'm sure Solomon has something to say about that.
The wheelbarrow is uniting people more than the BBI report is trying to unite people in this country.
You know, I was telling you before he walked in, you know, you stopped me for him to walk in on that issue of the BBI and whether it is there to fight someone. And I told you, and I've been telling Kenyans, that the president has said twice now. One, when we were at Bomas, and 2, when he had the members of parliament in Naivasha. And he said and repeated that, guys, I called William, and we sat down, and I told him, actually, I'm going to have a handshake with Raila Amolo Odinga because I have to save the country. William saw the sense, and he agreed. They moved to the next, where they were forming now the BBI task force. William gave 3 people. Uhuru Kenyatta gave 4 people into the task force. Raila Amolo Odinga gave 7. Why Raila did not, you know, divide the names with the other people in NASA is his problem. But in Jubilee, the president shared the list with William Ruto. And we know very well, even the person who had sent Agnes Kavidu Modama to Machakos to vie for women rep is William Ruto. He was even funding her. The believability is that. At least I know that he is the one who was behind her in Machakos in 2017. And now he brought her into the BBI task force. And Major Say and another person, I'm not recording the name. So the president included the fellow into the process. And I told you, the only reason that the deputy president is opposing the BBI is because the BBI is addressing the issues that have been affecting this country since independence. And some of those issues are what the deputy president has been riding on to arise to the occasion and acquire a position of power in this country. One of them is tribalism, violence, corruption. Those are the things that have been helping some people in this country to get to power.
And yet he says the wheelbarrow is uniting people.
No. We are addressing that. If there will be no corruption, there will be no Ruto in 2022 without corruption. If there will be no violence, there will be no Ruto presidency in 2022. If Kenyans are united in this country, there will be no Ruto presidency in 2022.
Those are strong sentiments.
And Ruto realized, and so actually this document, the things.
Yeah, I want you to, very quickly.
You can't draw aspersions.
I will tell you.
Just for the sake of it.
In the 1990s, when everyone was fighting for multi-party, And everyone was being beaten right, left, and center in Mount Kenya for opposing Moi. The only person who took that chance and became the beneficiary of that political violence is William Samoei Ruto.
How?
He became the member of parliament in 1997 through YK92 that was formed in the 1990s, and he was made a very key player into it. He acquired wealth, he acquired riches, and he acquired political influence and rose to power in 1997 as a member of parliament. In 2007, when we had violence in this country, William Samoei Ruto ended up as a minister for agriculture and as a minister for higher education later. Because there was...
Levy,
but Raila ended up as...
No.
Levy,
This is what I'm saying.
This is small talk and we shouldn't give it theater.
There's a character who has always benefited whenever the country is not united.
Well, that's up for debate, I think.
Let me tell you, Levy,
you see.
You're giving small talk a lot of airtime. Let me tell you,
someone has been benefiting.
If William Ruto has been driving on those particular issues,
corruption. You know, you didn't let me hammer that on corruption.
William Ruto.
Actually, yeah.
I
do want to make it.
He cannot explain where he got his money.
Yeah, but I asked you a question about wheelbarrow.
Yes, ask him why wheelbarrow is uniting people more than the BBI.
You know, if he lets us have a decorum, and discuss issues, listen to each other. I'm going to exhaust my minutes. You'll get
chance. Please, because you don't imagine we're out of time. It's 2 minutes to the end of the hour.
There is nothing like wheelbarrow.
So
people are getting to see how much they have been conned by William Samoei Ruto. And in fact, I was somewhere in Nyeri over the weekend. And a guy walked to me and said, no, I usually see you on social media doing your things. I see you on TV saying this and this. But there's this thing that you actually said, and it opened up our eyes. That if Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, may his soul rest in peace, gave William Samoei Ruto a wheelbarrow in 1991 after leaving university, would William Ruto be deputy president of Kenya today? And the guy said, no. So Moi gave this guy a piece of land and a car and money and even some authority to print even some 500 notes, and he acquired a lot of wealth and power. But today he is telling us, for us to be rich, you have to own a wheelbarrow. So guys in Mount Kenya and this country are opening up their eyes.
I'm going to let you answer that and as a final comment.
Let me tell you, William Ruto is the champion of peace in this country. When this country was divided into two, the key, let me call them the mainstream, the two main tribes in this country, William Ruto went for Uhuru Kenyatta and told him that we need to unite our people for this country to experience peace. And that's when URP in 2013, URP and TNA joined, and they formed the Jubilee Coalition. William Ruto, in 2016, swallowed his political pride and collapsed URP to form Jubilee Party. If that person is interested, if that person drives on chaos, then he should not have sacrificed all this political interest to form a national outfit called Jubilee Party. William Ruto, when you talk about corruption, today William Ruto is a member of the Open Governance group, a global open governance group in the world. Open governance advocates for open tendering, open government, and open markets. William Ruto has been advocating for using of technology in government business.
Let
me tell you, these particular technologies and open government and whatever, that openness
that is belaboring the point.
For reducing corruption in government.
That is not responding, it is belaboring a point.
If William Ruto drives on corruption, as he is trying to say, he should not be the champion of this particular...
We are so completely outside. Guys, I'll have to call you back to discuss the hustlernomics, because I think it's a whole different topic on its own, and I think young people would be very interested to hear what you have to say about that. But thank you so much for joining me today, Solomon.
Yes.
Yes.
Maina. We leave it at there, but I do believe that this conversation must continue at a later date. That's what we have for today on 59 Minutes. Sorry, our time is up. We wish we could continue. Stay tuned for Leah coming up with Ilosu, and keep it cuss. Good morning.